Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Krashy, and today I am very excited to be making this video. I'm going to be jumping into a bit of a Talonflame guide. Now on this one, I'm just kind of doing like a normal recording. I still think that in general my opinions are still shifting around, so when I do make some changes in my mind, like when I do want to update these kinds of videos, I'll either make a whole new video for it or I'll throw something in the pinned comment. So make sure you check that out if you haven't, just in case. You never know when you're watching this video. But for now, I've got a pretty good handle on the Speedster, and I'm really liking the Speedster role. I don't know exactly how competitively viable these characters are, but Toon Slim recently pulled out the Talonflame in a competitive tournament, so I have to imagine that he's doing really well. I was shocked by that, I'm going to be honest. Thought that would take a little bit more time or maybe a little bit more buffs to see Speedsters in tournament, but it's looking kind of good. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So Talonflame is an insanely bursty Speedster, and with some of these changes, which I can't even remember exactly what they changed because my memory is awful, I think that we are going to see a really nice situation for this character. So there's a couple of builds that I've been running, and in terms of ability setups, but actual item builds as well. So I want to talk about the two ability setups first and foremost. So I do have the Talonflame page pulled up on UnitedDB, and I'm looking at it. In my personal experience, there's two ways that I like playing it, and if you have a different way, definitely let me know in the comments down below. My main way that I've been playing it now with the buffs has been using Flame Charge and Fly. Now Flame Charge, I really like this ability because it's a 6.5 second dash. It's low cooldown mobility. I think it's his lowest cooldown or very close to. I think Aerial Ace actually has a slightly slower cooldown or slightly lower cooldown, but it gives you that dash move. It's not like damage focused per se. You don't have to target it on an enemy like you do with Aerial Ace. You can freely dash and do damage. This move, when you pair it with Fly, in my opinion, makes a perfect ability setup because Fly is kind of like an all-in move. Like when you go in, you don't really have much other mobility on top of that. You're in, the damage is there, and now you have to either blow things up or you have to die. So for example, if you're doing like Fly and Aerial Ace, that is a ton of damage, and I don't necessarily hate that setup, but lately I've been really enjoying Fly and Flame Charge. Like I said, Fly gives you the ability to hard engage, to steal objectives, to be off the actual field. Sometimes you can obviously use it to disengage, but Flame Charge gives you that ability as well. If you want to follow up damage after you land your Fly, you can do that. If you need to run after landing Fly, you can do that with Flame Charge, and I really like it. So for the second ability setup, I do think that Brave Bird is still an insanely strong ability to use. Now Brave Bird does a little bit less damage from Fly as far as I can tell, or just less damage than Fly in general from what I can tell, and it is much longer range. So you can do these kind of like Talonflame steals, but you do it from much longer range. So this is like more sneaky in a sense, like you can do a lot of damage outside of your normal range with Fly, and I like that a lot. And it brings a really good amount of utility, and it's kind of like Venusaur with Solar Beam, even though that's not really getting played right now, because it makes the other team have to think about where you are or have to physically go and find you and deal with you if they're starting an objective and you're still alive. So that said, with Brave Bird, I have been using Aerial Ace. I think that Brave Bird Aerial Ace is like a lot of damage. It's very bursty. You can get the reset if you get the boosted attack. So you Brave Bird in, you use your Aerial Ace, you get a boosted attack, you use the boosted attack, and then you can Aerial Ace again. So that, again, it kind of leans into that low mobility, but it's incredibly bursty because you're getting that Aerial Ace reset. Now, again, same deal. If you want to use Brave Bird and Flame Charge, it's the exact same thing, right? Like you can use that to essentially have more mobility. So the cool thing about Talonflame for me personally is that I think that a lot of his moves and the ways that you can combine them are really good. So play it for yourself, figure out what you like to play, and go with that. Like I said, my personal favorite is Fly and Flame Charge right now. All right, as for itemization, there really is about two item builds that I'm really enjoying with this character. The addition of Razor Claw has really, in my opinion, put this character on the map. It pulls out so much burst damage, especially if you're doing like, say, Brave Bird Aerial Ace. You're getting so much damage out of this, but in general, this is what I like to run. So I'm running Scoped Lens, the Razor Claw, and either Muscle Band. That's like the full damage one. I really like this build. I think that this is a very good build when you're like kind of maybe in solo queue, but in general, I'm still testing, so like I said, I'll definitely update y'all if my opinion changes. In general, I think that maybe dropping the Muscle Band for the Buddy Barrier might be the better play. And the reason why is that if you're ever initiating a fight with ultimate, or if you're ever like ultimate like using for like the mid fight, you can use it to like save yourself with the buddy barrier, and I think that this brings a lot of staying power in the fight. So in general, like I said, I've been running this like full damage version, but you're incredibly squishy, and the reality is that I don't really think that I don't really think that Talonflame necessarily needs the muscle band. The muscle band will help your jungle clear. The muscle band will help you do more damage, especially in like a solo 1v1. If you're fighting someone, you can really just chip away at them, and the muscle band will help you get your boosted attacks much faster. But a lot of Talonflame comes out in the form of burst. Like his damage, just you land on a target, you burst them really, really quickly, and I don't necessarily think that the muscle band is adding too much to that, but I do like the fact that you could run it if you want to. So in my personal opinion, I think that I would definitely try out either the full damage 3 items, muscle band, scoped, lens, and the razor claw, or I would drop the muscle for buddy barrier. So as for playstyle, you know, jungle is very, very simple in terms of how you want to play it. You want to make sure that you're showing up to lanes, and this is just a little bit of additive like information I'll go ahead and throw in there. You want to show up to lanes, you want to make sure that you're helping the 850Bs, the 720Bs, doing full jungle clears, and then being available for the big objectives, the dreadnoughts, the rotoms. And this is all, you know, like I said, general information that you should know. But in general, you really just are a hard engager. You're diving, you're jumping in the back line. And one thing that I've always said about Talonflame that, you know, when I play him in solo queue is kind of a problem, is that Talonflame is the type of character that needs follow-up, especially if you're the initiator. Like if you're coming into a fight that's already broken out, you're gonna have a great time. You're gonna have a great time because they're not looking at you, they're not paying attention, you're slamming down damage, you're bursting, you're doing all kind of resets and things that you're doing, and it's great. But if you're the initiator, and sometimes it makes sense to be, your team has to follow up. So definitely be a little bit careful in terms of like how you're initiating fights and what you're looking to do in those fights, because if you're full engaged, like say you land a fly and then you flame charge into them to continue that fight, you either need to know that you're going to get a kill and use your eject button to potentially get out, or hard chase to finish the kills, or you have to hope that your team will close the gap between you and them, so that way they can actually help you out. So as for battle items, I am still just like in love with the eject button. I think it's the safest option to take in general. I do think that there could be some room to potentially take, like say either a full heal or a fluffy tail. I mean, there's obvious value there. You can use the fluffy tail while you're in fly, so when you come down, you're gonna do more damage on the objective. You can use the full heal to, you know, keep yourself out of CC. But in general, I just feel like with the speed of speedsters, with how quick in and out that you need to be, the eject button's probably going to give you most of what you need. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. So that is going to be the guide for today. I hope that you feel like you learned something. I hope that you feel like you can take something away from it. As always, friends, drop a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know if you're running something different or what abilities you prefer, because like I said, I do think that Talonflame has 4 great abilities, and that's kind of rare in this game at times. So as always, friends, be sure to be kind to one another, tell someone that you love them, and I'll see you on the next video.